Alright, so this is the Speediance Gym Monster, and it is meant to be a very compact smart home gym. I'm going to show you how this thing works while also sharing my experience.
All the magic happens in the back of the machine where you have two permanent magnet synchronous motors. This is what pulls on the cable for you to get that feel of the weight that you have, either from 8 pounds up to 110 pounds per motor, and each of these consumes about 800 watts of power. Now, when you have this plugged in, you need to be sure that you are plugging it into at least a 20 amp circuit. When I received it, I was not aware of that, and I plugged it into a 15 amp circuit. So just because it's portable doesn't mean that you can have it anywhere in your home. And I did end up burning out the capacitors in the board. The company sent me replacements, and I did replace that. So it's working fine. I had to upgrade my 15 amp circuit in the garage to a 20 amp circuit, and then I had to run 12 gauge wires as well to be able to carry the 20 amps maximum. So the reason why I'm telling you all of this up front is to know when you turn your device on, it's going to draw way more current than what it actually needs at the start. It evens out, but what happens is that you're going to end up tripping either your breaker or your GFCI outlet if that is where you have it plugged in. And if you plan on having this in another room, you will need minimum 12 gauge wire to carry at least the 20 amps that you need to operate the device, or you will have that issue where the board is going to burn out from not drawing the power that it needs to operate.
I have the machine here in free weight. Basically, this is where we did a lot of our testing for the main function of the gym. The first weight selection mode you have is the standard weight. This is going to allow the motor to pull a constant tension on the cable at all time. I have 10 pounds. Once I turn it on, the magnetic field is turned on, and I feel 20 pounds on my biceps up to, let's say, 17. Ooh, yep, that's good. I'm gonna keep it at 8 pounds. The next mode is chain mode. Basically, this is an adaptive weight where as you're lifting up, the weight is increased to the amount of chain tension that you have. I have 6 pounds of chain weight here. The next mode is the eccentric mode, pretty much the opposite of the chain mode. And so you pull the weight at 12 pounds, but when you're lowering the weight, it adds that extra pound of weight for your muscles to feel. Great for certain muscles, great for your biceps, triceps, shoulders, is amazing. And then finally you have the fixed speed mode. So no matter how hard you pull, the machine is going to adjust the weight to keep the speed that you have selected the same. So Jay and I use this mode a lot for supersetting our biceps. So we would do like a eccentric mode followed by a fixed speed mode to failure. And then at the bottom here, for the accessories, you have the dumbbells, the barbell. It operates the cable at the same time. And then partner mode is pretty much telling the machine that you have one person on this pulley and another person on this pulley under my feet. And then this is the assist mode for if you are in a situation where you need the machine to help you lift the weight and you are struggling. That's what that's for, and it's nice to have. And then I don't know what the ring is, but you do get a Bluetooth ring. It's right there. So the Bluetooth ring in my hand is what you would use to turn the weight on and off once it's been selected. You see, off and then on. Our only issue with the Bluetooth ring is sometimes it's not responsive when you're working out, or sometimes you might accidentally hit the Bluetooth ring. Usually when Jay and I use this, we put the ring to the side and we actually like picking the weight up from the ground, which is part of the workout process, and that is preferred for how we do our workouts. But aside from that, you can also rotate through the weight. I feel like having both the rotating function and the weight on and off kind of messes with the interface. So sometimes when you try to turn it off, it doesn't work because it might think you're rotating the weight. So if they can just make this simply on and off, that'll probably solve a lot of the issues that we had when using this ring. Jay and myself put together a pros and cons list for this equipment. First, we have the height or the dimension of the machine. It is 73 inches tall. The width is 28 inches, as in from here to here, 28 inches. And then the length once it's folded down, it's 49 inches. Now for the pros, we like the fact that it is compact. If you are in a situation where you need a lot of room, so you have little room in your house, you want to have a workout equipment, and this is your only equipment. Secondly, here we have the variety of workouts. So in the interface, if you go back and you check out the workout list that they have, you can see that they have a lot of movements in there for a lot of different body parts that if you are a beginner, navigating that is going to be easy for you, and you have no guessing work to do, which is great. Again, beginner is perfect. Just ignore the fact that it says beginner, intermediate, or advanced. The only really advanced part about lifting weights is how well you are with your form. So if you're comfortable doing advanced workout, it's going to be the same as a beginner workout. Just make sure you work on your form and practice that. That's awesome. We have the pulley from the bottom. So this is basically a functional trainer. You have two uprights, and now you have a functional trainer type attachment at the bottom. So this allows you to do a lot of different movements that you could possibly have been doing with a barbell or a dumbbell. So you can replace your barbells and dumbbells for non-momentum based movements only. So just remember that. That's a plus. Customer service, they are responsive. So Jay infiltrated the Facebook group, and even though people have issues about the machine, like just questions and stuff that was left unanswered, they contact those people in the thread, and they were able to resolve those issues. A lot of the issues that we thought we had, we saw answers to that in the Facebook group, so that was nice to know. And they seem to be pushing out updates based on the feedback of the community. And then lastly, these two things recently, so you don't need internet connection, so you can still do your workout assuming you have updated to the latest software that they have on their device. And then finally, the subscription. No subscription, even if you do have it, unless you are able to get the feedback that you need as a beginner, like am I doing this right or wrong, the subscription, in my opinion, is not worth the price. Now, for the cons, jerky resistance. So the jerky resistance is the fact that the momentum-based movements can be done here, and so when you try to do that, it gets jerky. We were bench pressing pretty heavily a while back, and the movement felt a little bit jerky because, again, there's a point during the exercise where you're trying to push as hard as you can, and that jerky feeling is going to affect the machine, and so it's not going to feel right. We learned that a barbell bench press here is not going to be the same, so you're better off just doing dumbbells. Like, it just feels better on your chest in general. Plus the fact that when you go too heavy though, you are going to be targeting your muscle tendons to stabilize yourself, because it's a cable, and you don't want that to happen. I've seen people in the Facebook group complain about having like elbow pain. That's because they're trying to do barbell movements that should not be done here, and the extra like wear and tear on your tendons from trying to stabilize the weight is really damaging to your nerves. Secondly, lower quality accessories. So these are not top quality cable accessories. They are fairly cheaply made, and they are kind of overpriced. The belt, this not very well made, but you do get a belt. This is meant to be done with belt squats. Jay had the privilege of using this, and his complaint was that when you have heavier weights on this, it pulls your pants down. After a couple uses, the Velcro kind of rubs against some of these pieces here. After a while, it is going to get undone. It's going to be loose, and I don't see this belt lasting that long. The pad, this is going to be for your barbell. I don't like the pad. You get a pad, but half of it is missing. Like, if you're doing your workouts right for a while and you rotate it, it has the tendency to fall out. Usually when you have a pad, you get a strap in there, and what can happen is you can lock it in place and that pad is going to stay on. But with this case, nothing is locking the pad in place, and it's going to fall out, and it's kind of annoying. This is, again, it's hollow on the inside. I took the cap off, and this looks like if it breaks, you're done, right? So like it. We're used to having equipment that are made of iron or steel, and they're like rough to the touch, and they are built to last a lifetime. This is built to last until, well, I don't know, okay, but who's to say that if we use this every day for like a year, it's not gonna break? That's my only concern. And then we have next here the controller. So the ring for the weight turning on and off, very inconvenient. When we do exercises, like let me show you the example here. If you have the bar in your hand and you're doing like a bench press, we like to grip the bar and squeeze as hard as you can, even if you're doing like rows. And so when you are gripping the bar, your hands and all your muscles are focused on keeping this stabilized, and having this ring on your finger and having it like this prevents you from engaging all of your muscles to do the workout properly. So for that reason, we don't like the remote. Inconvenient, and again, the connectivity issue sometimes when you're trying to either turn on or off the weight. I don't like that, but it is there for you if you need the help. So we just have it to the side just in case. But most of the time though, we don't do weight that we can't handle anyways. So for maintenance, the cables, after 1 or 2 years of wear and tear, because these are not steel cables, they will need to be replaced. They're about $60. Regular cables are about $30 or so, and they're made of steel. That's too soon. And if you saw that I had the thing open, right, most people aren't going to want to open their machine to replace a cable. Like, if that's not you, this is not for you. Okay, if you don't feel comfortable opening this up to replace a cable with how it is set up, then this is not a machine for you, because you will have to do that eventually in a year or two, based on how much you use it or how heavy you go. It all depends. Again, it is a cable, and I can't really speak for you and your usage.
To get to the back of the machine, you have to undo 25 screws. Additionally, you have 4 zip ties to cut to even open up the back panel and replace your cable. When I replaced the board, I missed 1 zip tie at the end. I didn't realize that, and later that week my machine started making a very loud and annoying noise. I could not figure that out, but that just speaks to the fact that the way this machine was set up internally was not meant for users to open up and do maintenance, which they have to do to replace the cable anyways. So if they can put a little more thought into the cable management system in there, that'd be terrific, or at least make it easier for users to not mess up the machine once they do go in and complete their maintenance for the year or every 2 years.
The requirement for powering this, like I said in the beginning, you need a 20 amp service dedicated, and because you have a motor using this device, you're going to have a breaker that's able to accommodate the inrush current that is produced when the motor first starts. And so if you have a GFCI and you have this plugged in, you're going to trip that GFCI every single time. I have one at the back right now. It tripped because it sensed the imbalance in the current and it just turned it off. So I had to go and reset it. But yeah, just know that this cannot be placed anywhere. So just only 20 amp circuit, and it has to be its own dedicated circuit. So that needs to be clear to you. Lastly, we have the price. This is about 25 to 3,500, depending on what model you get. They have a model with the rolling attachment. We can't speak about that, but I've seen people talk about it, and that too. The rolling bench seems a little bit cheaply made. It is cheap though. So some of you after watching this may think that I'm trying to bash this machine or tell you not to buy it. Just know that I got this for free, and as always, our duty here is to be able to give you truthful information and our experience using equipment. I don't want to have anybody buy something that isn't going to be worth their time or money. So just understand that we're doing this for your sake, so that you know that in the future when we have other equipment to review, we got it for free, and we're trying to make sure that you get all the information that you need in order to be an informed buyer and to be able to purchase what you want for yourself. Plus the fact that, like I said, home gym equipment, it's a very small niche market, and when you buy something, you want to make sure that you're buying something that's right for your current lifestyle and your budget. Overall, it's a good device. I just wish some of these things were changed. The size is small, and I get it. It's to accommodate people who have a very small footprint and still want to work out. I think if they had a bigger model, like where the base plate was a lot wider and this is taller, now we're talking. But until then, if you're looking for something like that, you're probably better off getting a actual functional trainer in your home. And until the next time, I will see you in my next video. Make sure you subscribe, Let me know what you think about this video. Jay and I do workout videos all the time, and we do reviews as well now, so check that out and let us know in the comment section below.